The first thing Princess Lyrathel noticed about the human was that he did not kneel. Every other being in the Hall of Petals did. Ambassadors bowed low, spined nobles folded themselves in ritual submission, and even her own honor guard knelt with practiced precision as she entered beneath the living crystal arches of the Varelian court. Music chimed softly. Bioluminescent vines brightened in greeting. Yet the human stood. Not in defiance. Simply, standing. He was tall, but not towering compared to some species. Broad-shouldered, compact, wrapped in plain dark clothing instead of ceremonial armor. His hands rested loosely at his sides, fingers scarred, posture relaxed in a way that made trained warriors uneasy. Princess Lyrathel's eyes lingered on him longer than protocol allowed. "Who is that?" she whispered to her aide. "A human," the aide replied nervously. "Name, Marcus Hale. Deathworlder. Independent security contractor. Recommended by the coalition after recent events." Recent events was a polite phrase. Someone had tried to kill her. Twice. The Varelian throne was ancient, and Lyrathel, young by her people's standards, had inherited not only the crown but a galaxy of enemies. Factions that feared reform. Houses that wanted control. External powers that preferred a weaker Virelia. Her guards were loyal. Her technology advanced. It had not been enough. As the ceremony concluded, Lyrathel descended the steps of the dais and walked directly toward the human. The hall grew silent with every step she took. Marcus finally inclined his head, not a bow, but an acknowledgement. "Princess," he said calmly. Her guards stiffened. Some bristled at the informality. Lyrathel studied his eyes. They were dark, steady, unafraid. Not arrogant. Not impressed. She felt something unfamiliar tighten in her chest. "Human," she said, her voice carrying easily, "I am told you come from a Deathworld." He nodded once. "Earth. Your species is physically weaker than many represented here," she continued carefully. "Your natural weapons are minimal." "True," Marcus replied. A ripple of quiet amusement spread through the nobles. Lyrathel tilted her head. "Then tell me this. Can you defend me, human?" Marcus met her gaze without hesitation. "Yes." No boasting. No flourish. Just certainty. The laughter died instantly. They underestimated him. All of them did. Including Lyrathel. The first attempt came that night. The palace lights dimmed unexpectedly, a controlled blackout that should not have been possible. Lyrathel was in her private garden chamber, dismissing her attendants, when the air shimmered and folded. A cloaked assassin stepped out of phase space, weapon already charging. Lyrathel froze. Marcus moved. He crossed the room faster than her eyes could track, not toward her, but toward the assassin. The energy bolt fired, tearing through where he had been a fraction of a second earlier. Marcus grabbed the assassin's wrist, twisted, and dislocated it with a sound like cracking crystal. Before the assassin could scream, Marcus slammed his forehead into the alien's skull. Once. The assassin collapsed, unconscious or worse. Marcus exhaled slowly and turned back to Lyrathel. "Are you injured?" he asked. She stared at him, bioluminescent markings flaring uncontrollably. "That species," she whispered, "can tear armored guards in half." Marcus shrugged. "They telegraph before striking." That was when she realized something profound. Humans didn't survive Deathworlds by being the strongest. They survived by learning how to end fights before strength mattered. Word spread quickly through the palace. The human bodyguard was not just competent, he was terrifying. He anticipated threats before scanners detected them. He noticed changes in airflow, sound, body language. He slept lightly, ate sparingly, trained constantly. And he never bragged. Lyrathiel found herself asking him questions during their long walks through the floating corridors. "Why did you accept this assignment?" she asked one evening. Marcus considered. "You needed someone who wasn't part of your politics. And you do not fear dying for a foreign princess." He met her eyes. Fear isn't the same as avoidance. She thought about that long after he returned to his post. The second attempt was not subtle. It was war. A rebel house launched a direct assault during a public address, deploying combat drones and shock troopers into the Capitol Plaza. Thousands screamed and fled as shields failed and structures burned. Lyrathiel stood exposed on the balcony. Her guards closed ranks, shields flaring. Marcus stepped forward instead. "Stay behind me," he said. "That is not your duty," she began. "Princess," he interrupted gently, "this is exactly my duty." The first drone fired. Marcus seized a fallen guard's energy spear and hurled it. It pierced the drone clean through, detonating its core midair. The second drone opened fire. Marcus sprinted directly into the barrage, using wreckage as cover, moving in sharp angles no targeting system could predict. He leapt, rolled, grabbed a shock trooper twice his mass, and used the alien's own weight to snap its neck against the railing. Another trooper charged. Marcus met it head-on. He didn't try to overpower it. He broke its knee, crushed its windpipe equivalent, and used its body as a shield against incoming fire. By the time palace reinforcements arrived, the plaza was silent. Smoke drifted. Wreckage smoldered. And Marcus stood, blooded but unbroken, between Lyrathiel and the carnage. The crowd stared. The rebels stared. The galaxy watched. Later, as medics worked on his injuries, Lyrathiel approached him privately. Her voice trembled despite herself. "You could have retreated." Marcus winced as a wound was sealed. "Wouldn't have mattered. They'd still come." She clasped her hands tightly. "You saved my life." Again. He looked up at her. "That's the job." "No," she said softly. "It is more than that." She hesitated, then asked the question that had been burning inside her since the Hall of Petals. "Human, what are you?" Marcus thought for a long moment. "I'm from a world where everything tries to kill you," he said finally. "Weather, animals, other humans. You learn early that survival isn't about dominance. It's about endurance." "And loyalty?" she asked. He met her gaze, something fierce and honest behind his eyes. "Especially loyalty." The rebellion collapsed within days. Not because of fleets or politics. Because the legend spread. That a single human had dismantled elite warriors, outthought advanced drones, and stood unflinching before impossible odds. That Deathworlders did not need claws or armor to be unstoppable. They only needed a reason. The coalition formally recognized Marcus Hale as a living weapon class asset. He declined the title. Instead, he remained at Lyrathiel's side. One evening, standing beneath twin moons, The princess spoke quietly. When I asked if you could defend me, she said, I did not understand what I was asking. Marcus smiled faintly. Most don't. She turned to face him, regal yet vulnerable. The galaxy will fear you now. Let them, he replied. I'm not here for them. She held his gaze, heart racing. For whom, then? She asked. Marcus answered without hesitation. For you. And in that moment, Princess Lyrathiel understood the truth of Deathworld legends. That the most dangerous beings in the galaxy were not those born to power, but those who chose to protect it.